The image that you're looking at here has pretty much boggled the mind of every truth seeker, UFO researcher, and aviation expert since it first hit the web around 10 years ago, maybe more, we're not really sure. What we do know, however, is that it specifically comes from a type of weather satellite that was put up in the mid to late 70s, which is when the photograph was purportedly taken. And so what we're seeing here is a shot of the Earth's upper atmosphere from space. We see the blue, we see the white clouds, and of course, we see the focus of today's video, which is this very enigmatic, unidentified object that appears to have been caught while moving through the clouds, taking on a sort of square or rectangular shape, and behind it, what some have called what look like 4 contrails. However, the more and more you look into this image and what's in it, the more strange things get. The photograph was captured by something called a DMSP Satellite, which stands for Defense Meteorological Satellite Program, and was specifically used to monitor meteorological, oceanographic, and solar terrestrial physics for the United States Department of Defense. The program was managed by the Air Force Space Command, with on-orbit operations provided by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The originally classified mission of the satellites was revealed in March 1973, essentially being utilized to provide cloud cover imagery from polar orbits that are sun-synchronous at a nominal altitude of around 450 nautical miles or 830 kilometers. And so this photograph here, or image, because it's not actually a photograph, the way that these photos were taken, especially in the late 70s, or more specifically 1978, which is when this image is said to have been taken, the way the satellite worked was by creating pictures line by line, or what is called using scan lines. Very similar to a television, but very, very slow. This particular image would have been created in about 12 seconds. And so any sudden quick movements between the satellite and the unidentified object would have created a great distortion within certain scan lines. This means that in order for the satellite to capture that image, the object must have been moving below the satellite and at a speed that had to have been almost identical and in the same direction as the satellite itself. And so let's analyze the object a bit. Now, it's been said by some people who have looked at the image is that what we're actually seeing is an inverted photograph, and that the colors here actually represent hot and cold temperatures, indicating that anything that is in blue color is actually warmer air or emitting heat, and the white color is actually cold or without heat, which would mysteriously totally rule out the idea that this object is anything man-made or that is using any type of typical fossil fuel propulsion technology, especially when you look at what appear to be contrails here, which should definitely turn up in the hotter spectrum, but they're not. They would be ice cold. And the craft, for that matter, would be ice cold as well. No heat from this object. However, the UFO community has been divided on that, with many continuing to believe that what we're seeing is an actual raw color image of the Earth. We see the ocean in blue, the clouds in white, and this object, which again is taking on a very white color, potentially using some sort of cloaking technology to actually blend in with the clouds. And so what could this object be? Well, one of the only, at least terrestrial craft that we have that looks even remotely similar to this object would be possibly the X-43A vehicle, which is a hypersonic jet that is said to have had the altitude and the speed as well to have been possibly seen by a satellite this high up. Unfortunately, the very first flight of the X-43 hypersonic jet wasn't until 2001, which would obviously rule this craft out. So let's stick with 1978, where the only other real competitor to whatever this object is was something called the SR-71, otherwise known as the Black Bird, which was a long-range Mach 3 strategic reconnaissance aircraft. It was developed as a black project from Lockheed A-12 back in the 1960s, having served from 1964 all the way up to 1998. But to the chagrin of researchers, as you can see, the shape of this object looks nothing like what we're seeing from this weather satellite. And so that leaves one other option, that whatever this object is, it's either super secret, so super secret in fact, that no information about it has ever even been leaked online within the UFO community, or it's something from off-planet. And that theory has long held prominence over every other theory anyone could come up with, that yes indeed this is some sort of alien object captured by chance by this weather satellite. Even to this day, information on this specific photograph is minuscule. Although as of late, some have theorized that this could be some type of offshoot of the TR-3 Black Manta, or TR-3B, which we've spoken about many times on this channel, and is said to be a craft that was developed under a black project, with the only confirmed evidence we have coming from photographs and videos that have captured these things moving through the sky silently and utilizing some sort of anti-gravity technology. And so rumor is what we're seeing in this satellite image could potentially be a different version of the TR-3B, and what we're seeing behind it aren't actually contrails, but possibly some sort of after effect caused by gravity waves and the anti-gravity tech utilized by the object. It's causing some sort of distortion in its wake as it moves through the sky. Whatever your theory is, this weather satellite image to this day remains one of the most mysterious and really never before seen anomalies in UFO research. So what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know down in the comments. And just real quick before we go today, I just want to give a shout out to everyone who's down there in Florida right now as Irma is steadily approaching. As I said in my previous video, I don't know what is going on with the weather. There's been a lot of talk of weather manipulation with Hurricane Harvey. In yesterday's video, we posted the what was called by the originator of the footage as straight out of a horror movie, where this tsunami or wave of just eerie and creepy clouds and mist basically engulfed the entire town of Hinesville, Georgia. That really did look like something out of an end-of-the-world type movie. You know, it really reminded me of that film, The Mist. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, and I know I really haven't posted any of my film recommendations in a while, if you haven't seen The Mist, go and see it. And this is why a lot of people were making jokes in the comments, was because in The Mist, basically, just like here in Georgia, we have a small town that is suddenly engulfed in this thick mist to the point where you couldn't even see 1 foot in front of you, and then strange things start to happen. People start disappearing inside of the mist, and most of the film takes place in a grocery store where 20 or 30 people have huddled together to hide from whatever otherworldly creatures are within the thick mist, snatching people up. I mean, it literally is one of the scariest and one of my top 10 best sort of science fiction films. It is really on the edge of your seat stuff, so be sure to check it out. And so we had that, and then I had another set of photographs and footage that I didn't post on the channel that was just sent to me from right around when the solar eclipse was occurring, where someone over Mansfield, Ohio, captured what he called a phenomenal weather event, extremely eerie, where again, another one of these waves of clouds overtook this town. We have some images here that were even snapped by the local weather helicopter as the front steadily moved over the city. And now we have another Cat 5 hurricane heading for Florida, ready to hit us again. I'm already receiving pictures like this from viewers out of Florida. People are out of water, out of gas, and I just want to say I hope all of you guys are staying safe, and that hopefully you have all of the essentials that you need. And if history has shown us anything, that sometimes it's better to just get out of Dodge and not take the chance of being stuck down there. So my heart goes out to everyone. I hope that this is just a miss and that we don't have another catastrophic event like we have before. So stay safe, as I always say. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you back in just a bit.